Howdy, and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. This week, working on the 85 Ramcharger, doing the polyurethane bushings in the upper control arms this week, right? So last week, or last video in the playlist, right, was going over how to get the stock bushings out. This is going to be how to put the polyurethane bushings in. I want to point out something. When you're doing work on your vehicle, these books, this is the key number one thing you need to be going by. YouTube videos, at least in my opinion, should be a supplement to these. Basically, the white in between the lines, because that's what it's doing. I'm filling in the gaps of what they weren't able to cover with this media right here. So this is going to have all your torque specs, all that good stuff, tips, how to do it properly, how to set up properly. So I know some people, maybe in the last video, I don't know, haven't got anything yet, might say something about, hey, you know, the coil spring, you didn't set it up safe or right. Guess what? Buy the book. Actually, I was more safe than buy the book. I had more safeties in there. All right, just want to cover that. These books are not expensive. You can get them on Amazon, new and used. Not advocating Amazon or anything. That's where I used to get my books. You can pick one of these up, brand new, 20, 25 bucks. And like $5 for a used one, right? All right, off my soapbox on using your service manual, and let's get to installing those bushings. All right, we're still on that rainy day from last video, because it's Saturday. I'm trying to get all this knocked out, right? All right, let's go over the bushings. So I gave you a couple different methods last video to get ready to put the poly bushings in, or your new bushings, right? Let's go over the new bushing method first. So what you need on this is you need your insert, because the poly bushings don't come with the insert. They also don't come with these caps right here. So if you go the method of just buying the cheap Rock Auto ones, if you do that, these caps, sometimes they'll be off, sometimes they won't. They got a little lip that sits down in there. So you'll have to get those off if they're not, and then you'll need to drive that out. What I come up with, if you just use an angle grinder and come in and do kind of a angle on there, then you can peel that up and then use the tool to press it out a lot easier. So that's one method. The other method is if you use the old bushing and you did not do the 4 cuts right there, then you have a nice, well, not nice, a 30-year-old little piece that sits in there, and you'll need to drive that out. So I just use a screwdriver, you know, jam it all the way in to try to knock it out, right? So we're going to be in there like that and just trying to catch that edge and knock it out. We'll be in the vise, and I'll show you that here in a second, because I'm actually going to reuse the inner part of this right here. And since I bought a set of new bushings, I got new caps. So on the other video, if you actually could get the cap off, this is 30-year-old stuff now. If you could get the cap off, then that might be easier than cutting the 4 corners off. But it's easy enough to buy the new ones and use the new stuff if that's what you want to do too. Okay, well, I think I got that covered right there. The other thing, the poly bushing, at least on my application, whenever I put this in the control arm, I need this spacer right here. I do not have enough room to do the spacer on the other side. When it's in the control arm and fully seated, there's no room between the horns where it goes in, right? There's no room. If I added this 1/8 inch in there, it would not go in. So I did not use this, but I did use this side, and that makes a good snug fit right there. Also on the Fox Mustangs, they don't have goofy stuff like this to worry with to take up the slack. So as long as slack's taken up, that's all you're really going for, and make sure you have your lube on there. Okay, let's get to getting this old one torn apart. So I got this thing loosened up finally. I just had to Dremel down enough to get it to free up one side. I didn't necessarily have to go all the way around, but I did one little section and it's now loose. So this is a case where buying a new bushing would have been quicker and easier because, well, first off, I won't have to get that one off. At worst, I just got to drive this back one off, right? And it's all new, it'll come off easy, and then just push the bushing out. There we go. Got it. You can see right here the area that I cut through to get it to release right there, and then it came out. Okay, sitting up here. I got gloves on, so you know I hardly ever wear gloves. The stuff that comes with that, this grease they got right here, is gooey, sticky. It's not fun to get off your hands, so you really got to scrub. So I'm going to be applying that with the toothpick right here. You can use whatever. I mean, you can just not use gloves too. That's up to you. I'm just letting you know it can get pretty sticky. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up and get that on the bushing, and I'll show you getting that put in there right quick. So over here in the background, I guess I could have set up a little differently. Let's back up a little bit. Okay, there you go. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Letting it stick to my hand and all kinds of stuff. All right. There is enough to do both bushings. So don't worry about that. Slobber it on real good. Whatever method you want to use, just get it on there good and even, right? Yeah, still that nice rainy day Saturday here. See, this is a good time, days like this, just get caught up on all your YouTube watching, right? Okay, we got that in there. And here we go. You ready for it? You ready for it? Oh, wow, that was like extremely complicated right there, right? And it fits in there good, but that's the point of having the lube in there. Okay, got this. It's cleaned up. Put a bit of it on there, and we're going to do the same thing. Now this will fit in there a bit tighter, so I may need to use a tool to get that on there. And I'm just going to do a very light coat on there. Like I said, they give you enough, barely. Still don't want to get it on my gloves too much either, because then I'm going to touch stuff. I'm going to touch the camera, I'm going to touch the control arm, you know, all that stuff. So I want to be careful how much I get this everywhere. And of course, it's going to be all over the table. But anyways, make sure I'm looking at the screen. So we got this in view there. All right, so yeah, we'll just slobber it on there. And then we're going to press in that side. It's not super hard to get in there, but it could use just a little bit of loving to get it in there. So we're going to just kind of love tap her on in. All right, that's it. Remember, we need to use our cap on the back of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in. I'm going to use a little press tool to do that. It's not super tight in there, but this just makes it easier instead of trying to smack it with a hammer or something. Oh, I need to recombobulate that. Put it in there like that, and like that, and like that, maybe. And figure out that I don't have my, oh, there you are. I thought I might have put my wrenches up or something already. Oh, Whoopsie. I'm pushing the bushing out. Duh. That was not what I had intended right there. I'll have to recombobulate. I'll get the thing out of there. All right. Ooh. See, it goes in a lot harder. All right. Now it goes in a little bit tougher when you got that in there. All right, we're going to do this number here. I'll get my hands to work. All right. Should be it. I didn't do it quite like that last time. I smacked it with a hammer, but I'm trying to show better ways of doing this. We're going to find out once I get the 4 miles of... Yeah, there we go. Yeah. We're in there. We're pressed in there good. There we go. That works a lot smoother, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, now that we have our bushings and the control arm, we're going to put it in. Note, the ball joint's not in yet. We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that. We got our bolts. I went with new bolts and new hardware just because it's pretty cheap. You don't have to do that. I mean, they don't wear out unless you get something messed up on it. But that's that. Like I said, I got my anti-seize already on there, ready to go, all new hardware. So we're just going to line that up. What I like to use is these little pry bar looking things, is what they call them at Harbor Freight. It's more like an awl, and that'll help line these up. Just going to push that down a little bit. That's about where it is. We're not worried about alignment. Not worried about alignment just yet. We'll get that once the vehicle's all together. All right, got our bolt. It's in there. Sorry about that. I just kind of kicked you around there. Got the lock washer and the nut. I'm going to go ahead and get that on there. Going to go ahead and get that on there. There it goes. I'm not going to torque it down just yet. Peek, making sure everything's going in good. There we go. You have this little lip here, so you got to make sure that inside washer gets over that lip, so you're not catching on there, right? Okay, that's hand tight. That's where I'm going to leave that one right there. Once I have everything together, then I'll come back and start torquing everything down. So we just have the back one to do, and it's just doing the same thing, is making sure it's lined up. Press it down. Use the all pry bar thing. Drop the bolt in. Make sure it's seated. The other washer in. Now we're not set up to see this, and we're just repeating what we just did. Nothing crazy. Lock washer nut. Cross thread it, 15 times because you're on camera, right? There we go. So that's why I like anti-seize, because it makes things go together easy. It actually does dry just a little bit. It don't stay exactly that liquid form. Okay, that's hand tight. Here we are. That's how you put that in. All right, ball joint. I'm going to reset up over here and show you the ball joint and a couple things on it. Okay, ball joint. It is threaded. It is anti-seized. What you want to do on these, I like to kind of turn it backwards a little bit. Make sure it's seated in there good. and you should be able to get that to turn in. If you clean your threads good, turn it in pretty much by hand, like that right there, right? Now, just because it's easier on the hands, I'm going to go ahead and put the socket on there. See how that's squared? There's the socket. Get that on there. Like I said, this is just because it's easier on my hands to do it like this. But it just goes in there nice and easy. You don't have to mega torque it in there. It's just to hold it in place. Okay, now if that's in, got traffic coming. It's Saturday, so I got the door open. It's nice out. So anyways, got that in. What we're going to do, we're going to put our boot on before we start putting this all together. Lift her up. Get the boot looking half decent. I got the one, this is the Mavotech little install tool that you can get right here. Put it on there. Oh, moves very freely. And that's it, the boot's installed. So let's go ahead and get this lined up. You're going to have to move that stud around a little bit. All right, there we go. It's not all the way through. We are getting a little bump stop right there. What I need to do is get the jack underneath there. Let's reset up and get you focused in on that. Okay, recombobulated. Just going to take that jack. And it just lines itself right on up. There we go. Now that we're lifting that up, I'll go ahead and get the washer on there. These come with new hardware. And get the nut on there. Make sure I get it on there the right way. Here we go. That'll help suck that down like that. All right. Now, also, the other thing that I like about that is now we have our safety. It's back the way it should be right there, right? So, not worried about everything coming apart on us. So, that's a good little step right there. That's pretty much how to put it in. And then now, it's just going on the torque specs. Once you get it torqued, then you can put the cotter key in, and we have our little grease zerk in here that can go in as well. These are easy to cross thread, so you just got to be very careful with it. Wow, that one went in pretty easy. There we go. Nice, nice. So I'll get a wrench on that and torque everything down. But yeah, just look at the torque specs on that. All right, got it all together. That's going to last a good long while and be a good upgrade right there, right? So coming up next, what do we got? I'm going to get the rotors on. So that's doing the inner outer wheel bearing, but that's that style right there. The newer vehicles don't do that. They use a hub assembly and just a hat rotor. Got to get that done. Then I can get wheels on it. Then I can get it off jack stands. And then I can move it around or do whatever I need to on that. Also, I have that firewall to work on. I have, let's see, what do we got? Oh, I'm looking at shocks over here for OWR. I'm going to put those on there. But more importantly, today, I intend, anyway, I'm going and videoing a special car show, Spark for the Ark, right there. So I'm going to go a little bit in depth. I'm going to be a little bit different car show video because I want to explain what they do right there. Can't think of a name for it, but they're one of the community outreach programs. So that's why I want to video this right here and kind of help promote them, right? Okay, well, that's what I got coming up. I don't know if this is going to be next week or not, but we'll figure it out, right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Broken Tool Garage.